Hi everyone, it's Joshua from the Planet's New team. I wanted to give a quick demo today on how to create a private game for your own use, so just for playing with your friends. A lot of players can join Planet's New. They can play in individual games, single player games against the computer, or they join public games to play against all of us or all the community. But one of the best ways and the ways that lots and lots of players originally start playing Planets is by playing with their friends, and it's one of the best ways to do it. So I want to give this demo, and what I've done here is I've signed up just with a brand new player, so demo player 1114, and with demo player with this was as if you just signed up into your own account. And the way you can see here, I just have one single player game that I've opened up here. When you want to create a new private game to invite your friends, you just can go to the new games page or the hosting page, but I'm just going to click on this new game button here. And this gives you the different ways to create a game. So I could create another single player game here just for myself. These are the public player games where I can join against the community. Blitz games, I'm going to talk about those a little bit more later. But the one I'm going to focus on right now is private multiplayer. And this is where I can create a custom game with a number of players that I want in my game and go from there. So I'm going to hit play here. And what this is going to do is take me to the design your game screen. And this screen is actually a really powerful tool that lets you design custom games of planets, and you can customize a lot of different elements of the game. But if you just want to get started as a beginner, as your sort of first time, there's this initial fast start page, and this makes it really easy. So the biggest thing you need to do is choose what rule set you want to play under, and the number of players that you're expecting for your game. So let's just say that in my game, I've got some friends that I'm thinking about inviting. I'm going to invite eight people to play in this game with me. Or maybe I have only 5. It's my family, or whoever it is that we're working with that we want to play the game with. And the different rule sets are quite different. Beginners really very, very beginner. A lot of the features of the game have been taken out. And this is just to make things a little simpler when you're trying to learn the game. I would recommend for most games, even if you're beginners, start with the intermediate rule set. The intermediate rule set has almost all the features of the game in it, except for fuel management. Fuel management is the primary thing that's missing here, and also the ship limit. So the biggest thing here is that you don't need to worry about fuel. So you can fly around your ships, and you're not having to do a lot of detailed logistics on fuel, and that can be a big challenge. The other thing is the individual ship limit. Some people find that the global ship limit is quite a bit of a mystery. It's one of the very cool elements of planets in the advanced settings, but it takes a little bit of time to learn about how to play in that it creates sort of different stages of the game. And in that first stage, you really need to focus on building ships. But in an intermediate, individual players have their own ship limit, so they can which is just limited by the number of planets that they have, so they can build different ships. So I recommend intermediate. When you choose these things, it actually sets settings on these settings pages, which define a lot of things about the game. By default, it's actually setting the game here. You can look at these pages if you want to set additional settings in here, including what days this game is going to host on. And some of these settings are settings that you can change afterwards as well. So you're not stuck once you create the game. You can keep going. So and the players, in this case, I've chosen 8 players. We do limit in intermediate games. We don't include the privateer bands or the Crystal Confederation as allowed races, but we do allow every player to choose their own race. If you wanted to make all the players play different races, which can be a lot of fun, you can set the max players per race to 1, and then that will mean that whenever everyone's choosing their race, they must choose a different race. And that can be a lot of fun as well, but it's not necessary. So by default, players are going to be able to choose their own race. And it automatically is going to set the star map up for you with some smart settings and a good size, depending on how many players you've chosen here. So really, when you come in, all you really need to do is click intermediate, choose the number of players, and hit this create button, and then that's going to get you going. So I'm going to hit create now. And what that's going to do is going to go out to the server. It's going to create a game on the hosted platform of Planets New, and create that for you. And it takes a few seconds to create that game. Depends on how many players you have and whatnot, but not too long. So here we can see what happens is after I create it, it takes me to my hosting page. And my hosting page for me as the host of this game gets the new game. And here it is, Sector 279305. And I can click on this game now. And here we can see that the new game was created. And this is the players area where people can join the game. So presumably as the host in a game where you're playing with your friends, you're probably going to join the game as well. If you want to check on the map and see what was created, you can click View Map. And that's going to open up the game and let you jump in here. And I can just zoom out. And this is the map that was created for me. So my players will end up being in a sort of circular placement around this map. And they'll be a good distance apart from each other. So, and everyone's got a reasonably fair starting position. The starting positions are kind of optimized as these maps are generated. So you can feel pretty confident that everybody's getting the same kind of experience. So this is a nice way to do it. So I'm going to join the game with my demo player, and I get first pick on what race I want. So I'm going to choose, in this case, the Lizard Alliance for fun. Obviously, new players might not know a lot about it, but just encourage them to join and see how it goes. I'm going to join. It's going to actually take me right into the game. Or sorry, it's going to add me to the game and add that game now to my standard games list. So this is what's going to happen whenever anyone else joins as well. They're going to get added to the game, and the game is going to be put into their games page, and then they're going to be able to click play, actually play their turns. By default, the settings also have an accelerated start, so that means they'll be able to play their first 3 turns on their own before without waiting for anyone else. So everyone can kind of jump 3 turns into the game, as those first turns can be pretty quick. I can go back to the game page here, and there's a really valuable button here, Invite Players. So this button, you can click it, and really to invite players, all you really need to do is direct them to this web page or to this game page. And so this is the link. This send invite button just tells you the link that you need to be able to send to people. I can just copy to the clipboard here. And then all I need to do is email this link to my friends or post it on my social media or WhatsApp or however I'm going to send this link to them, SMS or whatever, to get them to go follow this link back to this page. Once they follow that link back to this page, what they're going to experience is they can click on one of these Join as Any Race buttons to take a spot. And when they click that, they're going to get prompted to sign in or sign up if they don't have an account yet. Once they create their account, they'll come back to the page. They can click in here and join, choose their race, and then they will be taken back to their game page, just like you. And they will have this page here where they can start to play the game. And the game will start to run as soon as the game is full, and then at which point the first host time will get set. And everyone's joined, and then everyone will have 24 hours or so to make their first turns. And then the game will start to host. By default, those default settings had a fast start, which means the first 15 turns would get played every day. And then you'll have a period of time where after those 15 turns, it'll slow down, and then it'll start to go 3 times a week, which is just a little different than what we've got going now. So I think this is a pretty straightforward process. Once the players join, if they've never played before and their account has a low number of turns in it, they will get a lot of help from the assistant guiding them through those first turns. And that's the little guy at the bottom corner that's going to talk to you about how to play the game and how to move colonists and colonize planets and stuff. So they'll get a little bit of tips and things from that guy. Obviously, if you have more experience, help your people out. And if you're a group that is just brand new, starting with planets, we're happy to have you and excited that you're going to get a chance to play together. And you can always ask the community for questions about how to do things or what's happening. And we're always happy to help. There's tons of helpful people in this community. So I hope this video is helpful and gives you guys an idea of how to create a custom game and how to invite new players to it, and that you'll enjoy making new games in the future. Thanks a lot.